place called Kokomo.
And travel fun and tips.
That's
listeners.
where
We
you
apologize for
wanna
the
go
delay,
to
but we
get
have
away
a
from it all.
fantastic show for you today. So we are going to start it out with a special guest that we have from Lake Tahoe. So, Ren, how are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you, ladies?
Ren, can you hear us?
I can hear you, and I
Okay.
should be, don't see a mute on my side.
Okay,
Right.
we can actually hear you. Can hear you very clearly.
Okay,
So,
good.
Ren, thank you so much for joining us. You are joining myself, Francine Cameron, Rita Gregory, and Nichelle R. Downing. And when we started the show, we all talked about where we are located. And Rita and I are in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And Nichelle is in the beautiful, beautiful area, Denver, Colorado. And we were just talking about the temperature. So for Rita and I, we are 6 degrees.
Yes, we're in Antarctica, really, not Pittsburgh.
And Nichelle was bragging about being at 24 degrees. So Rita and I could run out in bathing suits. So how about for you, Ren, Lake Tahoe? What's the temperature there?
41 degrees and cloudy, so not too bad. We're having a somewhat moderate winter on the West Coast right now.
Wow.
Yes, you are.
41. That's swimming weather.
Did you say 41?
Said
Ren?
41.
Yeah.
41.
Yeah, I didn't have to wear a puffy when I drove over to the office this morning.
Wow. Wow. And we're like 3 layers deep here.
Yes,
It's super cold.
snow and ice.
So, Ren, again, thank you so much for joining us. And we had that you are the communications and public relations person for Lake Tahoe. Is that correct? Did we have that correct?
That is correct. I work for Visit Lake Tahoe, and we represent the South Shore of the lake.
Excellent, excellent. So what we want to do is give our listeners here at Pittsburgh's DSEN Travel Fun and Tips, we want to give them some interesting information about Lake Tahoe. So again, you know, this day and age when people can go onto the internet, can use AI to bring up information, but what we like to do here at the station is have those experts for the particular areas to give us information. And so we just have a couple of questions for you, but we just really would like you to provide that in-depth information about Lake Tahoe, so that we can give that to our listeners. So the first thing that I have for you is what makes vacationing or visiting Lake Tahoe so unique?
Okay, I'm going to start with a small history lesson. Oh, actually, I'm going to start by saying thank you for having me on the show, for the opportunity
Absolutely.
to connect with you
Absolutely.
ladies and your audience. So Mark Twain visited Lake Tahoe, and one of the things he said about this place is that it must surely be the fairest picture the whole earth affords. So it's truly a beautiful destination. He also wanted to call Lake Tahoe Lake Bigler, which is kind of funny and doesn't feel fitting, especially if you know it your whole life. Tahoe is actually a derivative of a Washoe native word, which is da'al. So that would be the original pronunciation of the name. And I like to share that because I think it's beautiful to know there is a connection there. But what makes Lake Tahoe unique is that we have this beautiful array of outdoor recreation opportunities, many of which are easily accessible to our downtown area. And we also have some of the things you might expect if you were visiting like a city. So we have casinos and all kinds of shopping and dining. So you can build an itinerary here for any type of traveler. If you're traveling with grandparents or small children, there's things for everyone and every ability level to be able to do. You know, your group can split up and some people can go do the big long hike. Other people could spend a little more time shopping and maybe in the casinos. So that I think makes us pretty special.
And for Lake Tahoe, it straddles Nevada and California. Is that
Is
correct? So tell us about that.
So right now I'm sitting in State Line, Nevada. And then a lot of us live on the California side. So
Oh.
like a mile from the state line. And the actual downtown area specifically straddles the state line. So behind the Heavenly Village, which is the heart of the downtown area, that's where the Heavenly Mountain Ski Resort gondola picks up and takes off. So you can take that gondola up to the observation deck and see like the whole lake. And you don't have to be able to ski or snowboard. You can just go do that. And it's open in the summer as well. There's also a hiking trail right behind that area called Van Sickle. And there's a really cool like photo op spot that has the state line like marked on the ground, and you can like have 1 foot in each state. And then it's like a short walk up to be able to see over the lake as well.
So I just have another question, and I'll let Rita and Nichelle ask you some questions. So how does that work with Lake Tahoe being in both? So I would imagine you have to have a very good relationship on both sides of it, right? So do you guys share responsibility of the care of Lake Tahoe, et cetera?
We do. That's a great question, and it is very complicated. The lake overall is in 2 states and 5 counties. It's not a national park, which means that there's national forest, California and Nevada state parks, and then like privately owned sections. So there are a lot of complexities that go into that. And actually during COVID, a group was formed initially casually to start to address land management challenges and other, popular tourist destination challenges that arise. And then that grew into the Destination Stewardship Council, which my organization is a part of, as are a lot of nonprofits, land managers, Vail Resorts. There's a lot of participation in that. And what we're doing is brainstorming how we can balance, all of the visitation while also educating people on how to take care of this place while you're here.
Rita, questions?
Yes, well, not knowing the time of year to travel, say if this time of year, or let's take it into the spring,
Sure.
what are your suggestions on what to pack? Because I think of Tahoe being in a region where it's cold most of the time.
Yeah, so layers are always good when the sun dips below the mountains in the evenings. Even in the summer months, unless we're in a real heat wave, it can get chilly after dark. Spring is pretty temperate though compared to the temperatures that you guys were talking about at the beginning. 60s, maybe 50s in early May, and then it starts to gradually warm up. And there's something to do in every season. So if we're looking at spring, waterfalls are beautiful, and you can start to get out on some of the lower elevation trails. And then as it warms up into summer, the wildflowers start to bloom. So yeah, there's something every time of year.
Nichelle, questions for Ren?
So my question is, it goes back to what Francine said earlier, how you go online, you do all this research and all of that. But is it true that Reno has a food scene?
Well, Reno is about
Lake
an hour.
Tahoe, I'm sorry. Lake Tahoe.
That's okay. That's okay. But Reno is our closest airport, so that is a good
That's
point
why
to
it's
hit.
in my head.
Yeah. So that's the best way to get here, and there is a shuttle to and from Reno, so you don't have to rent a car if you come here. But I'll stick with the question you asked about our food scene. So there's a lot of hidden local gym type places all over that you can find. The first heyday in Tahoe was like the 60s and 70s. So you can find places that still have that hole in the wall feel. Red Hut Cafe comes to mind as one of those diners that's been around forever. Bert's Cafe is another really cute one. And then we have everything up till like celebrity flagship restaurants like Gordon Ramsay's Hell's Kitchen, Wolf by Vanderpump. We've got your classic steakhouse. One really good one is Sierra Steak and Chop House and Chart House. Like there's so many beautiful restaurants and everything in between. I don't know if there's like a particular type of cuisine you're curious about or.
No, I saw something, just a blip about the food scene there, just from a couple random like scrolls on Instagram. And I said, let me, since we get to talk to an expert today, which is great, I said, let me ask her, is there really a food scene in Lake Tahoe? And so, and you just answered it. And I think the whole concept of hole in the wall has changed for all of us with diners, dive in and drive,
Yes,
right?
yes,
Or whatever
absolutely.
it's called. Like we all look at it now with a little bit more reverence
Absolutely.
than we used to. if you could tell someone to go to maybe 2 or 3 places in Lake Tahoe, I know, pressure, right? That would really, if they only had, let's say, 3, 4 days to spend, that they would come away with knowing, wow, like the food was really good there.
Okay, I'm gonna say Riva Grill. Their scallop dish is amazing. And if you happen to be here in the winter time on Fridays, they do a fish taco Friday raffle with live music. And it's always super vibrant and a good mix of people who probably just stumbled on it and then locals who go every single week. So that's a whole scene. And they're right on the water. They're at Ski Run Marina. So there's a little shopping right around there and actually a Mark Twain statue right out front. So I'll say Riva Grill. I have a special place in my heart for Macduff's. It's a Scottish pub. I have some Scottish heritage, and it feels like a Scottish pub. Like the building itself, the staff are always really happy, and they have like pizza, burgers. They have a Reuben sandwich that's made with corned beef. That's like one of my favorite things. And they also have an outdoor bar area. So in the warmer months, you can like eat outside and kind of enjoy the trees and the grass out there. And then let's see, Naked Fish is another favorite as well. They actually get their sushi in from San Francisco, their fish. And it's just such an interesting, unique place. Like the staff are, some of the sushi chefs have been there over a decade. Probably close to 20 years. And so if you sit at the sushi bar, they'll like dish you up whatever you want. You know, if you're adventurous with sushi, you can do omakase, which is like chef's choice basically. And I've had a ton of fun eating there.
Brenda, I have
Thank
a
you.
question from our listeners. They said, what are the attractions at Lake Tahoe?
Well, it's gonna depend what season. Should I walk through the seasons? Do we want to do
Yes.
it that
That'd be great.
Yes, that
Okay.
would be great.
Okay. Well, it's winter right now, so of course, skiing and snowboarding are what we're best known for in the winter. And there are great beginner places to learn if you've never skied or snowboarded. Sierra Tahoe, which is a little bit outside of the main part of town, is a particularly good place to learn. And then Heavenly Mountain Resort is like right in town. As I was saying, you can take the gondola from the Heavenly Village up to the mountain and start your day there. And then if skiing and snowboarding is not for you and you don't want to learn that or it's not something you've picked up, there's also snowmobiling, snowshoeing, snow tubing. There's those geodesic domes you can rent out with a group and have hot cocoa
That
and
sounds
roast
like fun.
s'mores.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I like that.
And then when it's snowing, you know, you can find one of the cute little coffee shops and read a book. There's a lot of like cozy little nooks and spas and all that. So there's, as I was saying, like for any type of traveler, you can shape the itinerary to what you want to experience, whether it's chasing thrills or more relaxation. And then moving into spring, so everything starts to thaw out. The waterfalls are really incredible that time of year. I feel like that's the real shining star of spring, but you can still do a lot of things like mountain biking, you know, renting e-bikes. There's lots of places to rent bikes. So the summer activities start. It's just maybe you're going to need a coat still
Okay.
for a little while. And then early summer is when wildflowers start to bloom. The lake starts to warm up, but there's still snow on all the mountains. So usually through like mid-June. So if you really want to see the snowy mountains but have a little bit of warmth, then early to mid-June is the best for that. Unless we have a big winter with late snow, and then it, you know, of course, stays a little bit longer. And then peak of summer, sport fishing, parasailing, jet skis, wine tasting boat cruises. We have a old Mississippi style paddle wheel boat that's called the MS Dixie, and they have like sunset dinner cruises over to Emerald Bay. So that's pretty unique experience. And let's see, I'll hit fall. I'm going to circle back for one more summer thing. That's my favorite. Save it the best for last. Fall, the aspens are changing colors, and that's usually like end of September, first half of October. And that's really beautiful. And then if you really want to do something bucket list worthy and maybe you're celebrating a milestone, there is a hot air balloon that takes off and lands on the water. It's the only hot air balloon to take off and land from the water on the world's
Oh,
smallest aircraft carrier.
wow, wow.
Wow. Now, when
Yeah.
is that? Is that during the summertime? You're saying
So-
also, Ren, for the hot balloon ride?
That's going to be peak, but they do start as soon as they can, weather pending in spring and also into fall. And all of our water vessels, all of those group tours, they are very careful about monitoring weather and making sure that, if it's too windy or anything like that, they're not going to go up, and they'll give you a chance to reschedule if you can within your trip.
That sounds wonderful. One of the things that you said that always piques my interest is the spa opportunities. I'm a spa girl. I love being able to just go to a spa and just relax, and regardless what season it's in, I can
Yes.
always go to a spa. I mean, this is wonderful. I mean, you laid out, we were trying to figure out the best time to go to Lake Tahoe, but it just seems like anytime you want to go, there's going to be so much to do, so many attractions,
Right.
just based on the season. And that's fantastic. Not a lot of places can really boast that anytime you go, there's going to be so many things to be able to see and do.
Right. Now, my question would be, what about budgeting? Okay, I want to plan a trip to Tahoe, let's say in May, or spring into summer. Just roughly, what are we talking? Yeah, I go into Reno, I can get the shuttle into the city, and but looking for a hotel. It doesn't necessarily have to be the top of the line
Right.
accommodations, but the average person who would go into or want to go to Tahoe, looking at hotel accommodations, some activities, what kind of price range are we looking at?
Good question.
Well, in May, you're going to enjoy some slightly reduced rates. Peak is summer, and then right around the holidays and winter.
Mhm.
So that's going to be when you'd see the highest rates. So that's a good time to choose. I'm guesstimating like a couple $100s, maybe a little higher if you're wanting something that's a little more spacious or
Okay.
more recently renovated. But I think that you can find nice accommodations, comfortable accommodations for a couple hundred. And yeah, and then activities, that's where the range really comes in, because there's a lot you can do here that's completely free. You can hike for free, you can go see the lake. You can go find live music. There's always live music in Heavenly Village. And we also, on our nightlife page, have a map that shows all the different restaurants and places that usually have live music on the weekends. So there's ways to find entertainment as well. In May, we don't quite have the free summer concert series yet. Those kick up in the June time, but there's a lot of free concerts throughout the summer as well. But yeah, that was kind of the toughest question for me, was about budget, because it's such a wide range.
Right, right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, we appreciate you, just
Yeah.
giving us the information you did. But I just wanted to make sure our listeners knew that they can call in, and the call-in number is 412-213-8995. But if you prefer to text, please text at 412-218-3888. And Ren, we would also like to have you, just to give our listeners your social as well for Lake Tahoe. And, if they, after this broadcast, they want to get more information, where should they go to get the best information about visiting Lake Tahoe?
So for our Instagram, that's going to be Visit Lake Tahoe with an _official. So that's the Instagram. And then visitlaketahoe.com is our website. And there's all kinds of information on there, special offers page. And we also have an AI travel assistant that we call Echo. And that's trained by me. So I'm on there monitoring its responses and making sure that it's giving people the best information that we have. I would also recommend, we have a visitor center called the Explore Tahoe Visitors Center, open 363 days a year and staffed by longtime locals. So if you prefer,
That's
talking
great.
to being and you have some detailed questions, they would be happy to answer your calls.
Very good.
And we have another text. Our listener said, is Lake Tahoe considered one of the Great Lakes?
It's not a Great Lake as in the five, near Michigan, but it is the largest alpine lake in North America and the third oldest permanent lake in the world. So it's been here for a very long time, and that's part of why the water is so pure. That's one of the things Lake Tahoe is known for, not just for being a large lake, but also for being, it's just so crystal clear that you can see the rocks underneath the surface. And for a sense of size, the road around the lake is 72 miles.
That's
Wow.
nice.
That's not, well, actually, you could break it up, right? So we have a lot of people here locally that like to, jog around our various lakes, but they're not 72 miles, Rita.
No.
going around. Now, we do have another text in from our listeners. They said, do you have tours?
Oh, yes. There are lots of tours, and you can also find those on our website. There's a specific page underneath things to do that can take you to those. So there are photography tours. Tahoe tours is another one that'll just take you around to different spaces. And then we also have a beer trail and a club crawl. So if that's what you're looking for, there's also things like that.
Right.
Excellent. Now,
I have one thing to ask. It seems like such a wonderful, picturesque place. Wondering, do you host various festivals? Some regions host film festivals, different things. You have it. Like the theater community, or are there any type of festivals going on in
So
Tahoe?
our largest annual event is the American Century Championship. That is
Okay.
in July. It's a celebrity golf tournament. So all kinds of famous sports players and lots of different teams. We were looking up if there was anyone from Pittsburgh recently at the ACC, but we'll have to get on that.
Well, there might be. Mr. Kevin Cameron's
that's
a golfer,
right.
so
Very competitive.
Nice. Yeah, so
Very
that's,
nice.
and if you don't mind crowds, that's a really fun time to come. It's a very lively event. And then we also have Sample the Sierra, that's in September. So that's a food festival that's outdoors. Lots of different restaurants come out and they show little like small plates of things from their restaurant. A lot of times they have like wine pairings. We'll pair the booths, with some food and some wine and all kinds of arts and crafts. Brew Fest is another one that's I think also in September or end of August, and that's all of the breweries as well as some regional breweries like from Reno come out for that as well. And there's a Renaissance Fair at Camp Ridge that's very popular. And then the Caesars Republic Outdoor Summer Concert Series. So that one is not a festival in the sense of being like multi-day. They are concerts, but it's a really incredible venue, and we get some pretty big name artists for that. Last year we had Rod Stewart, Dave Matthews Band. So yeah.
Very nice.
Oh.
Nichelle, other questions for you?
No, I'm looking up flights. That's what I'm doing.
Excellent.
Especially
excellent.
since you said, I deal with people all the time who want to, oh, I need to rent a car, and everything you described, it's like not necessary. So, and I love going somewhere where I do not have to think about driving, don't have to think about transportation. Everything I want to do is within walking distance or maybe a short ride. So it sounds fabulous. It really does. And it's a quick, easy getaway. People like to plan these huge, large vacations, but sometimes it's just those quick getaways that will revive you.
Right.
Really, revive you.
I'm glad that you mentioned the going carless, Nichelle, because I did want to share a little bit more about LakeLink. So LakeLink is our free public microtransit system, and it's basically like Uber. There's an app. You put in where you are, where you're going, and how many are in your party, and then it will come and pick you up and take you to where you're going. It covers most of the South Shore, so it won't get all the way down to the far side of the California side of town yet, hopefully soon. Um, but it will get you in that casino corridor, the downtown. You can get to hikes, you can get to the beach, you can get to all kinds of different restaurants, and you can get there safely, even if you're wanting to let loose with some drinks. So the one thing I will say though is the wait times can vary if you're trying to go somewhere, you know, on a Friday or Saturday night when a lot of people travel. Definitely check the wait times early. And then if it's, especially if it's a longer wait time, be ready a little early. Sometimes the wait times jump, and if you know that, then it's fine because you know to be ready. And I've successfully used this for multiple concerts and events, and we really like it.
Now, Bryn, just two questions for me. You know, before we went live, you kind of talked about you've been coming to, before you moved to Lake Tahoe, you've been coming for years. How did that happen? Is there family that's from that area, or did your parents just kind of decide that that was a great place for the family? How is it that Lake Tahoe has such a special place in your heart?
Okay, so the true story is my grandma, Helen Muat, loved to gamble.
Oh, okay.
She loved the slot machines, and my grandparents loved the shows up here. You know, back in the day, the Rat Pack was here, Frank Sinatra, Elvis Presley. And so they started off our relationship and time here on the South Shore. And then my parents weren't so much into the gambling, they're more outdoorsy. And so we would come up in the summertime and take the bikes out. And some of my earliest memories are being in the little seat on the back of my parents' bike and cruising through the forest and smelling the pine.
Excellent, excellent. And then if some, actually we have another, you know, people are saying, don't ask all your questions, Francine, ask mine, right? So we have another text, and so I'll delay my question. Do you have good wine venues?
Yes, we have a few. Okay, so Elevated Wine, they are in the Heavenly Village area. They also have oysters. That's a great one. Jimmy's at the Landing is a restaurant with a really wonderful wine selection. Edgewood Tahoe Resort, which I wanted to mention, so that's one of the luxury properties here. They're a Forbes rated resort. They also have an amazing wine selection at their restaurant, The Edge, that they just did a full renovation of that space. It's very beautiful. And you can go there and go to the bistro bar as well and just kind of enjoy the property. You don't have to be a guest to enjoy and explore. It's really beautiful. And Idle Hour is a local spot that is kind of in the middle of the town, right on the water. And that is also a wine bar. So there's definitely options for that.
Excellent. And once again, listeners, please keep the texts coming in and feel free to call. The phone lines are open. Again, the phone number is 412-213-8995. The text is 412-218-3888. Rita, I think you had a question.
Yeah, you really do seem to have just a wide variety of things to see, places to go, and things to do, primarily for adults. Are there activities you have that might be geared more toward the younger set, the children, the tweenies?
Yeah, so I'll start with, we have two different magic shows. One of them is at the Loft. So that's really fun. And then we also have Alex Ramon, who does a magic show with his little dachshund dog. And he went and competed this last year in like the World Magician tournament. I don't know what it's called actually, but in Italy. So he's amazing. So those are two things. We have mini golf outside in the summertime. That's really fun. And there's also a location called Tipsy Putt that is indoor. So you can visit that year round. We have axe throwing. So that could be fun for older kids and teenagers. Yeah. And then, you know, all the outdoor activities are all age friendly. So you can tire the kids out at the beach or on the trails.
Nice. Very nice.
Yes.
Nichelle, other questions for Bryn?
No, I'm sitting here taking notes.
Okay, I am too.
Because I didn't realize I mean, I knew something about Lake Tahoe, but not everything that you described. And it is just, it sounds like it is an everybody can find something trip, which
Mhm.
I'm always looking for with groups. Because, you know, some people like to do this, some people like to party, some people want to sit and chill, and just to be able to do that. And, you know, with everything going on in the world, you know, people are starting to look at, okay, where can I go that isn't that far away, where I'm not going to have to necessarily worry about my passport and all of those different things. And Lake Tahoe sounds like it's the place.
I'm going to ask my question, Ren. So my question is, if I come to Lake Tahoe and I want to experience the authentic culture, you know, not the internet version, but the authentic culture, what is some activities that I must do to really understand Lake Tahoe?
Question.
Yeah, so I'm going to start with the fact that Tahoe has a mindset. You know, we talk about being on Tahoe time and mountain town, mountain culture, and part of what that means is slowing down. So that was a big thing that made me fall in love with this place after I moved here, is it's very neighborly and friendly and warm when you slow down, right? So I don't know how much you guys have been around tourists where you're at, but sometimes there's this rushed, you know, like sense of urgency, and that'll kind of shut people down when we're approached with that. But if everyone kind of slows down, that's when you'll get those tips and those conversations that open up, you know, different things that maybe aren't even on our events calendar, but the person tells you about that secret beach that they don't tell every tourist, but they're going to tell you because you were approaching with openness and curiosity. So that's my number one tip, is talk to people. And they'll tell you about, and I'm one of those people. I've told people about beaches I don't share with everybody because they just were super sweet, and I wanted to share something that was special with them. And then, yeah, look at our events calendar, because while we do, of course, post all of the major events, we also post more small locals things too. So if you look through all of those, you can find the smaller events, you know, getting out and exploring town. There's some really cute shops near Lakeview Commons. The Tahoe Art League is right across the street, and that's art from local artists that's there for purchase and on display. And the Tahoe History Museum is right there. So those are some smaller and lesser known things. I also wanted to shout out, and this is kind of in the same spot, Rojo's Tavern is like this very local-y spot. Has kind of like a Middle Ages or like Hobbit vibe, like a lot of wood and like little wooden alcoves. On the weekends, they have karaoke upstairs, and it's got like this Die Hard scene. And then most weekend nights, they also have a show downstairs with some kind of electronic music. Um, Bring earplugs if you decide to go, probably, just because both floors can be loud, but really fun vibe in there.
Excellent, excellent. So someone also texted in, are there any train rides or cruises?
Yes, we have tons of cruises, and some of those are actually year round. So the MS Dixie, that's the paddle wheeler that I mentioned earlier, that one is year round, of course, weather, you know, weather permitting.
Permitting.
Tahoe Cruises and the Blue Wave. There's also a sailboat in the summertime. So lots of cruises. Tahoe Tastings is the one that does wine tasting on board, and that's like an old vintage wooden boat that's really beautiful.
And trains?
Trains, you'd have to trek to the Nevada side. I think there's a train that goes out to Virginia City, which if you were here for long enough to do an excursion somewhere else, I was going to give a shout out to David Wally's Hot Springs, which is over on the Nevada side. So you could spend a day there if you had the time to add that in.
Right. And I just want to say that since we're also on YouTube, many people will watch the recording version. So if there are questions for Ren, please text us and we'll get that information up to Ren so that we can get your questions answered. You know, so again, our audience are listening, but they're watching us on YouTube, and we encourage you to please, you know, text in your questions, and we'll make sure that we get those to Ren. But also, Ren, I'm just going to have you one more time give us your social. so that people can, definitely go on to your additional social platforms as well. So if you could give that for Lake Tahoe. Just once
Certainly.
again.
Visit Lake Tahoe _official for the Instagram. And we're also on Facebook, Visit Lake Tahoe. And our website is visitlaketahoe.com.
Excellent, excellent. And so we're going to take just a few more minutes before we wrap up. So, Ren, is there anything else that we didn't ask or that you would like to just share with our audience?
Well,
Give you that
asked
opportunity.
A lot of great questions. One thing I didn't mention yet was that clearly Tahoe has clear bottom kayaks. So that's one particularly fun and pretty approachable tour. You don't have to be in great shape to do that. They'll help you get in and out if you need a little assistance or you're new to it. And also Tahoe Sport Fishing. Both of those companies have tour guides that are super knowledgeable. So not only are you getting the experience of kayaking or fishing, but you're getting to spend time with someone who really knows their stuff, and you will catch fish on that tour.
Excellent, excellent. Well, we appreciate you so much coming on with us. Like Nichelle said, we all need to book our trip, and we can do it either on a budget or we can just go all out and do luxury, Rita.
Yeah, and you know what's so nice about it is she mentioned a lot of the activities are free. So if you want to up the ante a bit and pick a better grade or higher grade of a hotel accommodations, you can do that because you don't have to budget so much money for your activities. So that's a good point for me.
And I also like the ability to do so much outdoors too.
Absolutely.
And I know Michelle, always talks about that with the groups that she books as well, being able to provide them with a variety. Because if you go with a group, you might not all want to do the same thing, but being able to have that variety. And I think this day and age that there's so many people who are interested in being in shape, doing more outdoorsy things, not always being on the phone or in front of a TV. So Lake Tahoe just seems like it offers so much for so many people. The variety is fantastic. Well, Ren, thank you again. Thank you so much for coming on, giving us this information.
Thank you, Ren.
And it has been wonderful to have you on. We really appreciate you.
Thank you for having me, Francine. Nice to meet all three of you.
Excellent, excellent. Enjoy the rest of the weekend, and I'm sure our listeners will be in touch, as will we.
Yes, thank you,
Time to
Ren.
follow up.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Take care.
Take care.
You too. Bye.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I did not know a lot about Lake Tahoe, but now I do. And, being so close to, as they said, flying into Reno, being able to catch a shuttle, that's fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been to Reno, but never considered going into Tahoe. And as we're talking, I'm looking at pictures of the area, and I could really see doing a ride on the boat on the lake. I think that'd be beautiful to see the mountains. I think it's a great choice.
Excuse me. So,
Uh-oh.
so on that note, we're going to take a short break.
Okay.
And when we come back, we're going to talk about this cruise.
Yes, yes,
A
yes,
cruise?
yes.
We're going to talk about the cruise. So we'll be right back.
Looking for a cost-effective way to help increase your company's bottom line? Look no further than Soul Pit Media. With our award-winning print, internet, podcast, and Soul Pit television options, we can help your business get to that next level. For more information, contact Craig Dawson at 412-407-7685. That's 412-407-7685. And let Soul Pit Media take you to that next level.
Business owners thinking about back-to-school promotions and replacing summer flavors with pumpkin? What about your taxes? Reduce your stress and tax liabilities by planning for tax time now with Cameron Professional Services Group. CPSG takes your goals, values, and visions to create a custom tax plan catered specifically to your business. We work closely with you to ensure that as your business grows and goals shift, so will your custom plan. Located in the Hill District in Pittsburgh, PA, CPSG is a CPA and consultant firm, providing services in accounting, auditing, tax planning and preparation, community development, and operational management. Call Cameron Professional Services Group today at 412-251-0607.
Have you had the Beat by Niche experience? Beat by Niche is one of the top makeup artists in the city of Pittsburgh. She's touched the face of Cardi B, love and hip-hop personalities, and various Steeler wives. If you have not sat in her chair, what are you waiting for? Visit beatbyniche.com to schedule your special makeover for all occasions, weddings, graduations, proms, photo ops, and more. Visit beatbyniche.com and experience the touch of excellence.
Looking for a cost-effective way to help increase your company's bottom line? Look no further than Soul Pit Media. With our award-winning print, internet, podcast, and Soul Pit television options, we can help your business get to that next level. For more information, contact Craig Dawson at 412-407-7685. That's 412-407-7685. And let Soul Pit Media take you to that next level.
Business owners thinking about back-to-school promotions and replacing summer flavors with pumpkin? What about your taxes? Reduce your stress and tax liabilities by planning for tax time now with Cameron Professional Services Group. CPSG takes your goals, values, and visions to create a custom tax plan catered specifically to your business. We work closely with you to ensure that as your business grows and goals shift, so will your custom plan. Located in the Hill District in Pittsburgh, PA, CPSG is a CPA and consultant firm, providing services in accounting, auditing, tax planning and preparation, community development, and operational management. Call Cameron Professional Services Group today at 412-251-0607.
Have you had the Beat by Niche experience? Beat by Niche is one of the top makeup artists in the city of Pittsburgh. She's touched the face of Cardi B, love and hip-hop personalities, and various Steeler wives. If you have not sat in her chair, what are you waiting for? Visit beatbyniche.com to schedule your special makeover for all occasions, weddings, graduations, proms, photo ops, and more. Visit beatbyniche.com and experience the touch of excellence.
DSEN Travel Fun and Tips. If you missed the segment just before this, you missed a real treat because we talked about Lake Tahoe. We are going to shift gears because Travel Fun and Tips is cruising in November of this year. So we want to give all of you information on our cruise. We want to also give you the phone number to call in, 412-213-8995, or you can text us any questions you might have, 412-213-8995. 218-3888. So Nichelle and Rita, this cruise that we are having, I'm excited about it. So Nichelle, how about this? Why don't you let our listeners know where we're going, when we're going, and how we're going?
So we are cruising November the 7th. It leaves out of Miami. And for 14 days, we will be cruising. November 14th is when we land back in Miami.
So for
We will
7
be
days.
headed 7 days.
Yeah, 7 days. Well, actually, it's
7
8 days,
nights.
7 nights.
8 days, 7 nights. That's right.
And we
Yes.
will be cruising to St. Martin, Phillipsburg, St. Martin. We'll be going to Charlotte, Amalie, St. Thomas. I think I'm pronouncing it right. And then we'll also have a perfect day at Coco Cay, Bahamas. Now, what I really want the listeners to know is not only am I managing, of course, everyone that's booking for our cruise, but I have been tracking the cruise itself, like, because it's open to everybody, right, on Royal Caribbean. And I have to tell you, they are just about booked up. So the balcony cabins that we also have ocean view cabins. That is our inventory that we have for this cruise. I tell you what, we probably have the last cabins left, and we don't even have that many for people to sign up and go. But this is going to be great. It is before the holidays. You're not going to have a lot of people who are on holiday leave, and we're not anti-children. Bring your kids if you want to bring your kids, but there won't be a lot of children. But which gives us as adults who have the child inside of us more opportunity to do all the things that normally the kids are in line to do. So all the water slides, all the flow rider, the aerobatic, all the things, all the shows, everything. There's something for everybody here. And because I know that we have spa people who love the spa. The spa there is incredible and amazing. And what's really nice about the spa, so I don't know about you guys, but when I go to a spa, like I recently had a speaking engagement and I stayed over at the hotel and I did the spa. Well, I went back to my hotel room, and then of course later that day, because I only did one night, I had to check out. Or if you go and get a massage during the week, to get rid of that tension, you get back in your car and you drive home. Imagine going to the spa, right? And what are most spas centered around? Water. Why? Because it relaxes you, the sound of it. Imagine now going to the spa, hanging out in their lounge, sipping on water that's been infused, and maybe you get a mimosa while you're there. The choice is yours. No judgment. But imagine now, not only do you go back to your room, but you go back to your room and you still have that essence of water, either by view, or if you have a balcony, you can open those doors and you can feel the ocean breeze. Like, that's incredible. That's amazing.
Absolutely.
And with me being the travel agency, Point Breeze Travel Group, and we are managing everything for the cruise, we're the ones that will do the legwork for you. I had already people that booked the cabins wanted to know about mobile scooters, because they were going to bring their mobile scooters. Well, because as you know, cabins have limited spacing, and I've already done all the legwork for them. And so I contacted different people, and found the company that works best with Royal Caribbean for this. And let me tell you this about Royal Caribbean. They have found the perfect balance, because I booked many clients on this on this brand. They have a balance of adult child fun. Like, some cruises are all about the party. Some cruises are all about activities, adventure, and fun. But this Royal Caribbean has such a great balance of that, where you get this adult travel experience as well as being able to explore the child inside of you. And then they know that, because some people, hey, I'm a land traveler. Me personally, I love a resort. So we're going to have that one full day on the island of Coco Cay where we're going to be able to sit on a beach, relax in a lounger, put sand under my toes, and I'm still going to get that while I'm there. So it's a fantastic cruise, but now is the time to book it. That's what I'm telling people. Now is the time to book it. And because you're going on a cruise, I know everyone has seen the gloom and doom that's on Instagram, our new trusted media source, about people getting back in through customs and the issues and all that. Well, now you're on a cruise ship. You get to travel to 2 different destinations, 3 really, if you count Coco Cay, the island, and you are accounted for. You're on a cruise ship. So it's not like you're going on your own and you have to deal with anything that comes up by yourself. And then coming along with Pittsburgh's DSEN cruising, and listen, anyone can come. They don't have to be a subscribed listener. They don't have to be, if you are listening to this and you have family members, you guys have been talking about a cruise forever, you maybe want to get your toe wet, see if you really like it. This is where to go because you're with a group. You're with some people who are going to connect with you. When you go with a group, like we were talking about with Lake Tahoe, there's always things you like to do, but maybe the person you came with doesn't like to do it. Well, now you're with a group. There's going to be somebody in the group who likes to do what you like to do. There's some people who are not going to sign up for any of the excursions. Right. They're just going to hang out on the boat because on excursion day, the boat is empty. Just a little travel tip to those who are listening. Just like people who come on a cruise, if you've never been on a cruise, they handle your luggage and your room is not ready when you first get on board. So you might want to put a swimsuit or something in your carry-on bag. And when I say carry-on, you might want to make it an oversized tote maybe, or just a tote bag, because you're going to have to keep that bag until 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon. So think about that while you're going on a cruise and you're doing that. Most people head for the buffet, but guess what? The main dining room is open as well. That's someplace to go. It's a little quieter, it's a little calmer. And I tell you, I say it all the time since we've been talking about it. To me, your vacation starts from the time you step out your door.
Absolutely.
So you should always be thinking of things that are not going to add stress, add problems, add a little bit of a headache. Make it as smooth as possible. That's what you want to do.
And Nichelle, we're going to wrap up, but I just want to say one thing, reiterate. This cruise coming with Pittsburgh's DSEN is open to everyone.
Everyone.
So if you do have family who are, trying to plan a cruise, really thinking about it, well, consider coming with us. We're going to have a lot for you to do. However, it's your vacation. You can do some of the things or none of the things. The point is come and have some fun with the group. Come with us to explore some of the most beautiful islands that God ever made, and just come and be with good people, So as we do our monthly broadcast, which is always the last Saturday of the month, we'll give you more information, but you can also go onto our website.
Correct.
So you can go to Pittsburgh's DSEN website, as well as you can go to Nichelle. And Nichelle, why don't you give them the website and how to contact you, because sometimes, Rita, people want that personal attention, especially if they've never done a cruise before. Right. So Nichelle, why don't you give our listeners your information as well?
So my email address is Nichelle, that's N as in November, ICHELLE at pointbreezetravel.com. That's Point Breeze. If you live in Pittsburgh, if you know, it's not, that's how they say it, right? If you know, that's Nichelle at pointbreezetravel.com. If that's too complicated, you can call or text me at 720-316-6082. And I will assist you, walk you through the process, answer any questions, because some people, they see all the information, but maybe you have some questions before you click that button. I'm open to all of that, and I'm here to answer all of those questions for you.
Rita,
yes.
The cruise, you ready?
I'm trying to get there.
I've
love
already put my
cruising.
deposit down. I'm not messing around. So for that 8-day, 7 nights, I already know where I'm going to be. And for me, Rita, you know, I've talked to so many people who have said, oh, my family, we're talking about, you know, having a cruise, going on a cruise and all that. I'm like, well, come with us, you know, but I'm not going to wait around because as Nichelle said, which I kind of thought about, the ship is booking up.
Yes.
You know, so if you wait too late, and I know people are saying, well, it's not till November, but when people are planning their vacations, everyone is doing things earlier and earlier, you know, just to make sure that they're finalizing. So with this ship being Royal Caribbean, we all know it's one of the most popular cruise lines, and this ship is just fantastic. It's going to fill up. So we would hate to leave you all back here on land when we're on water cruising. So please, please reach out to us, reach out to Nichelle directly, and book. Come have some fun with us, right? So we are going to take a very short break. When we come back, we are going to talk to Maria, who represents one of the beautiful cities in the Philippines. And, you know, I'm imagining that there might be a Miss Rita Gregory who's been there.
Well, I've been to the Philippines.
See, so we are going to get a lot of details about the Philippines to see, you know, what you can do, how you can get there, and just the overall beauty of it. So we're going to take a quick break, and then when we come back, we are going to talk about the Philippines.
I'm ready.
So hang in there with us.
Pittsburgh, it's an old school party. Yes, each Saturday we throw it back with some of the best old school music, funk, R&B, old school, rap, hip hop, and all the jams that make you move and dance. Yes, check it out. Each Saturday, right here on Pittsburgh's DSEN, all the old school jams, 6 to 11 p.m.
Pittsburgh, have you seen our Sunday radio schedule? Ooh, it is lit. Start the day off with our Sunday gospel music from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. It will inspire you and have you praising the Lord. Then from 3 to 8 p.m., we bring you Sunday jazz melody for all the jazz lovers. Then cap off the night with The Quiet Storm from 8 to 11 p.m. to hear the best smooth, romantic, and soulful R&B sounds of yesterday and today. All that each Sunday on Pittsburgh's DSEN, the place for soul.
Hello, Pittsburgh's DSEN Travel, Fun, and Tips listeners. We are back. I'm Francine Cameron here with Rita Gregory and Nichelle R. Downing.
Yes.
We have had a fantastic time today talking to you about Lake Tahoe, a little bit about what to do if you have damaged luggage. But we just had a wonderful lady, Ren, on talking about Lake Tahoe. And now we are going to the Philippines.
Yes.
And we're going to be talking to Maria. And I do not want to mess up the pronunciation of her name.
What is on?
I think so, Rita. Yeah, I think so. So we want to talk about the Philippines and what does that mean to be able to travel there, vacation there, what's unique about it. So as soon as we get Maria on, we will talk about the Philippines. But we did get a text. Someone asked a couple of questions about the cruise. So until we get Maria on, we'll go back to the cruise. So the question.
And Francine, if I can hop in here, we have Maria on, but we need Maria to turn her camera on. Okay. So I see that Maria is logged in. Maria, can you hear us? I'm not sure. You show up on the board here on the screen, but it says that you're muted. Okay, Francine, you can go ahead while we try to get Maria on, but it also looks like that Rye is still connected as well. So, or Ren, we need Ren to log off. If there we go. So Ren logged off, okay. And we just need Maria to log in.
So until we have Maria log in, can I go over the question?
Yes.
Okay, so the question from the text that we received is, if you're someone that has limited mobility, is a cruise really something that you should think about?
I say absolutely yes.
I would say yes, and mainly because the excursions, let's say, may be too much for you. Right? Maybe you don't want to deal with the hassle of trying to do that, but a cruise is wonderful for someone because everything is right there,
right,
in one place. You know, you want to go to theater, you want to go to and see shows, you want to go sit by the pool, you want to go to different restaurants. It's not the same as being, let's say you travel to a different city. I'll use Hawaii or something like that, for example, where if you wanted to do all those things, you're in and out of a car. You have to make sure you got the right Uber that's going to be able to accommodate you. Mm-hmm. Then does the place have accommodations for you? You know, if you're on a scooter or a wheelchair, or maybe you just have slow mobility, is there a place for that, et cetera, et cetera. Like all those different things that you are responsible for and that you have to think about. We're on a cruise, they have all of that in place. Accessibility, they have where people who have mobility issues board, you know, in a certain area, they board certain places, they have people to assist you getting on to the cruise ship. Mm-hmm. And just all of those different pieces and parts to it that you don't have to think about.
Right.
For yourself.
And they are handicap accessible, having ramps along
That's
with
right.
the stairs.
It's good. And I think it's a good question because...
And elevators.
Yes.
And elevators.
Oh, that's great. So I think that's a good question because there could be some of our listeners, some folks that want to go, but they're just apprehensive about all the walking. So again, the cruise ship has those accommodations. You won't be the first person that would be experiencing that. And they know how to accommodate it, and they also know how to make sure that you have a wonderful experience just like everybody else.
Right. You know, if I could just add also that my mother, who's now 93, but when she was in her mid-80s, she and her sister took them on a cruise, and no problems. My aunt using a walker and wheelchair. It had no problems with maneuvering around the ship and enjoying themselves on the cruise.
Excellent, excellent. And so
now what I've done is, like I said, I've contacted and really talked with these representatives, because you know that's something else you get as a travel agent, right? Mm-hmm. You get the real answer to the question, so to speak. And she said that there are a couple of third-party companies that they work with. So instead of you having to travel with your electric scooter, mm-hmm. These are companies that work with a cruise ship. So that means the diameter, the sizing of it, all of that will fit well through their corridors as well as in the cabin. They're collapsible, mm-hmm. All of those different things, because once you get these mobility, you're responsible. It's not like at a Target where there's a place to charge them. You have to charge them in your room. because you can't block the corridors.
Correct.
So, so those individuals who would need that, I would advise you to bring a power strip, bring an outlet thing so that you can plug multiple things into outlets, because outlets are limited inside of cabins.
Yeah, universal adapters are really affordable. You know,
Yes.
spend $10 for a nice adapter.
Good.
And it looks like we have Maria on. We just need Maria to turn her camera on and unmute, and we should be good to go.
Okay, great. So for our listeners, again, if you'd like to call in, give us a call at 412-213-8995. If you'd like to text, which we've received a lot of texts today, ladies, so this is really great. We appreciate it. But text us at 412-218-3888. And just one last question with the cruise. Someone mentioned, will you be able to have that tour that you'll be able to see the workings of the actual ship? And that was something we talked about previous, Rita.
Right.
So, Nichelle, it's just a follow-up on having that tour to be able to see how the ship actually runs.
So the representative is still working on that for me, because she's trying to see if possibly we can get a set time for that, to see if we'll be able to do that as well. After COVID, they kind of cut back a lot of different things that they used to do. And not just COVID, people are cuckoo nuts. And so she's checking on that for me to see if that's going to be available for her.
Okay. And then the other question is, Coco Cay, is that a public island or is that a private island?
That is a private island that Royal Caribbean owns, and that they have everything on it. So that is their private island that they stop their ships at. Not all their ships stop there, but there's a large number that stop at this island, and it gives you the island feel. There's food, there's drinks, there's DJs, there's lounge chairs, there's, all the things that you would expect to have at the beach.
Another question came in. Keep asking these questions until Mr. Kevin Cameron tells us that we have to stop. Okay, so the last question is, how do you distinguish between the cabins? That was the question. How do you know what cabin to select?
So if you go on the website, pointbreezetravel.com, and click on Pittsburgh's DSEN cruise, that will then take you to another page, and that page has a picture of the cabins on it. And so you will know if you choose a balcony cabin, that's what you're getting. If you choose the one that says ocean view, that's the one that you're getting. The ocean view is basically a cabin that doesn't have a balcony. So
Okay.
we have roughly, I think, 15 balcony cabins left and 10 ocean view cabins left.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, don't sleep this. So if you have additional questions, Nichelle has given her contact information as well as her travel agency, Point Breeze Travel. She's given you that information as well. Plus, you can go on to www.pghDSEN.com, and you can see the information on the cruise as well. So please get in touch with us, book early. This is a trip that you definitely don't want to miss. And so what we're going to do, we have Maria who will be talking to us about the Philippines, and we're going to go until 2:15 so that we can get the full breadth and depth of the Philippines. So Maria, hello, I'm Francine Cameron, along with Rita Gregory.
Hi, Maria.
As well as Nichelle Dowling, and we are excited to have you on today's show. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm good. And thank you for inviting me, Francine. Hi, Rita and Michelle. Just looking forward to being with you today. And
Excellent.
well, I am with the Philippine Department of Tourism, and my office is in New York, which covers Eastern Canada and Eastern US and the Midwest as well.
Fantastic.
Excellent. And Maria, I think Rita pronounced your name correctly, but tell us how to pronounce your full name.
Oh, it's I will have a Spanish sounding name. Maria Corazon
Hmm.
Jorda Apo is my married name.
Excellent.
APO.
Okay,
Yes.
excellent, excellent. And so you're located in New York?
Yes, I am.
Perfect. So you are experiencing this cold weather like Rita and I. We're in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And so, how is New York? How is the temperature in New York?
Right now it's calmer. It's a little bit hotter, warmer, but I'm used to this cold weather because I was assigned in South Korea, and we see a lot of snow, and the temperature is as
Right.
low as negative 25 Celsius. I'm
Yes.
used to Celsius.
Yes, 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 yes. Excellent. And so, what we want to do is travel fun and tips. We like to have experts like yourself come on the show and really talk to us about the area that we are exploring. You know, Nichelle, Rita, and I are very good when it comes to locations, um, bringing our listeners some information. And of course, you know, with the internet, AI, you can get all that
Right.
information. But what we want is people to come on who are the experts in that location. So, you know, we just want to have a conversation with you, talk to you about, is it Palawan, Philippines, if I'm pronouncing it
Yes.
right, and to really
Right.
talk to you about, my first question would be, what makes visiting and vacation in Palawan, the Philippines, unique? What makes it so unique?
Yes. You know, uh, that's a very nice and very good question. Palawan is globally recognized as a premier, sustainable, and often called as the last ecological destination in the Philippines. In fact, the reason why people need to go there is because it has been given a lot of awards in past year, and the most recent is by the US News and World Report as best island in the world for
Wow.
2025, and also the Travel Plus Leisure magazine, both in the US. This publication, it's named Palawan as the second best island in the world of last year. And also, it is a UNESCO biosphere uh, province or travel destination. What does that mean, biosphere reserve? There is a program by UNESCO that promotes sustainable development by balancing biodiversity, conservation of human use, and as well as eco-friendly, sustainable tourism practices. So so they protect nature while supporting the local economies. So what else makes it unique? In Palawan, there's this UNESCO heritage site called the Puerto Princesa Underground River. It's There are a lot of underground river in the world, but the Puerto Princesa Underground River, what makes it unique as well is it flows into the sea. It's the West Philippine Sea. It's a UNESCO site. And it's magical. So a lot of Americans who visited there, they take a small banca. It's a small boat that can take on just 10 people, and the boatman will hold a lamp and then guide you through 4 kilometers of a navigable underground river. So you can see all those thousand years of stalactites, stalagmites formation. We don't put any artificial lights on it because the artificial lights will destroy the stalactites and stalagmites. So the other very notable feature of Palawan, if I may say, is it's an archipelago within the Philippines. It's an archipelago itself, but Palawan is a province. Is an archipelago of 1,780 islands, and it is in the western most part of the Philippines. So if you look at the map of the Philippines, it is that on the left is there's this long island, long elongated island, and that's Palawan. It's situated in the West Philippine Sea in the northwest, and then stretching down the south to till the Borneo Island. And it is the biggest island in the Philippines. To give you an idea, 280 miles long and about 31 miles wide. So there's our the landscape is really defined with a lot of limestone karst, and there are many hidden turquoise lagoons, white sand beaches, and above all, very natural or incredible biodiversity of a lot of birds, sea turtles, and I'm not sure if you know that animal, scaly animal called pangolin. It's unique to Palawan. So that in itself is what I can say and what I can share. And then there are three notable areas to visit in Palawan. One is Puerto Princesa, I already mentioned. That's the capital city. It is in the center of the island. And then there's El Nido, which is in the northeast of the main island, and a separate island called Coron. So each one I will tell you what is unique. I've begun with Puerto Princesa with the underground river, and then there are flights also going, and I'll describe to how to navigate within Palawan. So El Nido is also known with a lot of limestone um, cliffs, islands, islets. And the best thing to do is snorkel, swim in its lagoon. They call big lagoons, small lagoons, and then you can also do like fishing. There are world class resorts in there. I would say my favorite is Miniloc Island, Pangalusian Island. Hard to pronounce, but you can find it in the website. And then we also have Coron. Coron is a separate island of Palawan and famous for its Kayangan Lake. The Kayangan Lake is said to be the world's cleanest lake. And you can go and hike in one of its hills, and then you can see an overview of Coron. So, in a nutshell, those are the things that are so I'd like you to also follow it up with some other questions that your readers or your listeners may want to know,
Yes.
basically.
So the
Yes.
question that a lot of times they want to know is,
Mhm.
you go to Palawan, how do you really experience the culture there? What should you be doing? Where should you go to really get the authentic culture of Palawan?
Hmm. Right. Okay. Um, Firstly, I'll say how to go. I'll define. From, let's say, the East Coast, we have Philippine Airlines. It's there are 3 times a week flight out of JFK, but there are a lot of flights in Los Angeles, even twice daily to Manila. And from Manila, you go by domestic plane of Philippine Airlines as well to Puerto Princesa. That's the capital. So in there, when you're there for doing Puerto Princesa and Palawan, Palawan is more on the natural side. It's more uh, experiencing their ecotourism. But also in Puerto Princesa, they have the Palawan, they call the Palawan Heritage Center, where there will be like the arts and crafts of the people you can witness there. And then there are a lot of indigenous tribes that settled there long before. And in the Heritage Center and also the Palawan Museum, you can view them, the typical way of living of these people. But I would say Palawan, to experience Palawan, you need to do more of the island hopping, and then you can do with your ground handler or tour operator. You can bring some picnic lunch and do while doing the island hopping and then snorkeling. Same thing goes for El Nido. So from Palawan, from Puerto Princesa, if you're done there, a good 3 days and 2 nights would be the shortest time to experience Puerto Princesa. And then from Puerto Princesa, there's smaller planes like 50-seater plane run by 50 to 100-seater plane run by Air Swift. So you can go from Palawan to El Nido, which is El Nido has like all this island hopping as well that you can do and experience more of the lagoons, the small big lagoons. And there's also another flight from El Nido or Puerto Princesa
Hey,
going
Maria,
to.
if I could interrupt you before you get to the flight, this is Kevin Cameron. I'm producing the show.
Okay.
I want to
Uh-huh.
hello. I want to make sure you're fully in on the screen, and your camera might be. Yeah, there you go. If you could move back just a little bit more, and I think
Uh-huh.
there we go. Now you're
Okay, now
good.
you can see me.
Yes,
Okay.
we can see your full face, and try to go back just a little bit more too.
Okay.
Let's see.
There.
Okay, that's good.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
Okay. Okay. So, um, from again from Puerto Princesa or El Nido, take the flight to Coron. Now, what makes Coron also unique? Coron is part of Palawan. There are shipwrecks in some of the sea in the areas, the islands of Coron. And you don't really need to dive deep because just by having a snorkeling fins, you can already see the shipwrecks of World War II. So that makes it unique too. So that in itself, so I would say when you go to Palawan, you really are to experience its natural wonders.
Rita, question?
It all looks beautiful. I'm looking at just wonderful pictures of the islands, and I never knew there were that many islands in the Philippines. But one question that I do have for travelers is a visa required
Mhm.
to get
Uh,
into
visa for visa, the entry visa you're
entry
asking?
visa? Yes,
Okay, and the entry visa, fortunately for Americans, 30 days visa free.
30-day
So, and
visa free.
30 days, so it's a month visa free. Then if you're holding a US passport, you have to have your passport valid for at least 6 months.
Okay,
And 72 days prior to your actual flight, you need to register at etravel.gov. That's gov.ph. What is this registration? It's just facilitating the immigration and the
that's
customs
great.
procedure. So when you're there, then our immigration will just take a look. Our immigration officer will just take a look at your passport, check it if you have already registered, and easy. Now, if you fail to register, then don't worry. They'll just give you the usual paper upon arrival. But it's best to register
Yes,
again in etravel.gov.ph.
that's very good.
Nichelle, questions for Maria?
So the Philippines, are you doing the biometric entry at all, or you're not doing that the way that Europe is doing it?
Biometric and the immigration.
Okay,
Yes, they will just
okay,
take your biometrics there.
okay.
Now, Maria, how long of a flight from, say, New York is it
Yes.
to the Philippines?
From New York will take about 15 to 16 hours, depending on headwind or tailwind. So sometimes it can even be 17 hours, but most recent I took a flight, it's 16.5 hours. Out of LA is shorter, that's about 12 to 14 hours.
And for our listeners, we're always cost conscious. So, um, what would be a good budget for our listeners to put together in terms of dollars wise, for them to really experience Palawan, to have a good time there? If they were on a budget, what should that budget look like?
Okay. So I would say I've been computing it a while ago. So it would be like 2,500. So with 1,000 400 to 1,500 for the flight, then 1,000 on the three destinations, but depending on the accommodation. So safely on a budget with all the meals. Meals are not really expensive. It's inexpensive. So we would have a 2,500 is on a budget. Yes, Michelle.
So you brought up something that I'm always asking about, the food. Uh, I was privileged to work with somebody from the Philippines, and he used to make, is it lumpia? Lumpia?
Lumpia. Is it
Lumpia.
the
Yeah,
fried style?
yes,
The fried. Yes.
yes. And he would make it at work, actually. He would bring in the pan, the
Oh.
whole thing. Yeah. So
Mhm.
tell us about the food of the Philippines.
Yes. Good question. Our food is characterized of our unique history. We're 300 years under Spain. And before Spain came, we've been trading with China and Malaysia. And then, of course, 40 years under the US. So with all these historical influences came about the food, the dishes, the cuisine of the Philippines. That lumpia that is of Chinese and a Chinese influence, and we sort of localize it. And even our spaghetti, our pasta, we call it spaghetti. There's a distinct taste of our spaghetti, which is really sweet because the taste of the Filipinos are on the sweeter side, and we put in hot dogs. So that's our typical spaghetti.
Right.
And then we do have our noodles. I don't know, Michelle, if your colleague has brought you pancit. We call it the tin noodles. Next time, you better ask him to cook pancit for you with the tin noodles. Asians are known for all these stir fry noodles. So we also have our own version of pancit. We have a lot of version of noodles, a lot of version of rice cakes, different regions. Can you imagine the Philippines is made up of 7,640 islands, and each are very diverse. We have about 77 we call provinces. Palawan is one of them. So each provinces have unique take on pancit, on chicken stew, or we call it adobo, but we have some variants or variation of adobo, and especially the rice cakes. So rice cakes in the north are different with rice cakes in the southern part or even the middle. So I cannot, I don't know how I wish I could really describe it. So
You're
as
describing it very well. I'm sitting here so
So
hungry right
hungry. I
now.
know my stomach is starting to
right.
growl.
And our fruits, mango. I think the
Yes.
sweetest, less
Mm.
fibrous, but you have to take care of not eating too much. It's gonna,
Yes.
your sugar will really spike up with our mango because it's really, really sweet. And we even do a mango juice. It started as a mango juice puree, and even the green mango sour at taste, but it can also be prepared into a juice. So,
My goodness.
Nichelle always has to bring up the food, and I love it because just the different
so
cultures. And although we have some of the Philippine food here, sometimes it's not authentic. They kind of,
That's the case most times.
yeah,
Hmm.
it's not really authentic. But to be, Nichelle worked with a person, so I'm sure that was authentic and just fantastic. I do have a question for you. What's the best time to go to
yes,
Palana?
right. For Palawan and basically for the Philippines, from uh, March, I would say the best time would be the middle October until early June would be the best time. Although the Philippines is an all-year weather destination, our monsoon begins with the latter part of June until about August. That's where it's unfortunately that's our monsoon season, meaning rainy season,
Yes.
and sometimes we're visited by typhoons. And that's your summer, but that's nature. I can't do
Mm-hmm.
anything about that. But it's not rainy season all day. So there are forecasted typhoons that will come and go. So but not all the days. Palawan is seldom hit by typhoon.
Hmm.
So once in a while, yes, but in the last 3 or 4 years, it's not. It's more of the middle side. It used to be the middle side of the Philippines and the northern side, but due to climate change, sometimes even the southern part are visited by typhoon.
Right.
Now, you did talk about, climate change. So,
Mhm.
if our listeners are traveling to Palawan, how should they dress?
Huh. In the Philippines, we only have two weather. So it's the rainy and the rainy, no, rainy and summer. So you don't have to bring your jacket. So it's like summer clothes. That's how you would dress. But of course, you need to bring in your glasses, sunglasses, because sun is really strong. And if you're doing like swimming, especially in Palawan, as I said, it's sustainable. They do have some policy on sunscreen. So just so they don't the sunscreen can damage also the corals.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
make sure, yeah, they really have to check on your sunscreen because there's a lot of sustainable practices in Palawan, like one use of especially in El Nido, they don't use one single use plastic, so you need to bring in your container. Some resorts would already provide you with single no, containers that you can refill for water, so
Okay.
things like that.
Now that you mentioned the sunscreen, are there any medications that are not permitted to come into the country? Some
mm,
regions of the world you're not permitted to carry certain things, like
not
decongestants or whatever.
Yeah, I don't remember that we do have that kind, but
Okay.
so long as you bring let's say if you're not sure, just bring in your prescription.
Okay.
It's very important that your own maintenance medicines are with you,
Right.
and it would help if you do have your prescription.
When we talk
Yes.
about staying, what about hotel accommodations?
Yeah.
Or is it smaller units that are preferable as opposed to major?
Well, it really depends on one's budget, but Palawan, Puerto Princesa, and even El Nido and Coron would have these top um, resorts,
Okay.
and that would they depending on the season, but let's say on a regular, you can have for 3 days, 2 nights would be about 350 US dollars to about 500 US dollars. So
Okay.
depending if it's a standard room, triple room, or single room would be a bit higher.
Okay, great.
So that is the range. And of course, if you go during the less we would say the monsoon area, monsoon time, which is June, July, August, that is also our school days begins on those times in the Philippines, and that would be a bit lower.
Okay.
So there are also lower budgets, especially in El Nido, as much as just 100 per 100 or $50. That's really super budget per
Great.
day.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, Maria, we
So
have
I
a
would say, but
sorry.
sorry, but a very good. This you get a 350 to a 500. That's already luxury, I would say.
Wonderful.
Sorry to cut you.
No, I'm
Francine.
sorry about that, Maria. But we have a caller on on the line that we'd like to bring on, Mr. Kevin Brown. How are you today, sir?
Hey, I'm fine, Francine. How are you?
Very good, very good. Well, we have Maria on the line. You have a question for Maria?
I do. I find that she's been very, very informative. And I was just wondering about import, export. What does the Philippines export to the United States? Is it primarily fruit?
Good
Uh,
question.
from what I know, we export our bananas and our mangoes
Hmm.
in the to the U.S. Coming
Okay.
in here.
And Maria, has that been affected by any tariffs that United States has set on other countries, which would increase, maybe travel and the cost of coming to the Philippines? Has that been an issue with tariffs?
Um, well, we've got a lowered tariff. Don't know if you 19% you would say it's lower, but most of the Southeast Asian nation states have a higher. Us is because I think we are one of the allies of the US, so they gave us a 19%. Of course, that will be affected. It will be affected by all the tariffs um,
Good question.
imposed by the Trump administration.
Okay, even though you guys are an ally, the tariffs would increase what it would cost somebody like myself to come to the Philippines, which I've heard so many wonderful things. People who do a lot of yoga, they go there to meditate and just to connect with nature. So it might cost a little more now, or if it's when the tariffs go into effect, is what I think I hear you say.
I would say, well, of course, inflation is everywhere, but our Philippine peso has depreciated a bit from the US dollar. So now your dollar gets 59 pesos. So that's big difference. It used to hover a year ago, it used to hover with only 54 or 55. Now it's 59. So you get
Oh,
more value for your money.
okay. So the dollar is still a little powerful. It still has some.
Yes. In the
Okay,
Philippines.
great.
I'm not sure with the other countries.
Okay, great. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Good questions.
Thank you
Question, Mr.
too.
Kevin. Thank you for calling in. We appreciate it. And
Absolutely.
we have just a few more minutes. So if you're interested in calling to speak with Maria about the Philippines, about being able to travel to this wonderful part of the world, please call 412-213-8995 or continue to text in these questions to us at 412-218-3888. Additionally, for some people, Maria, they will go back and watch the YouTube broadcast, And so we just want our listeners to know, if you do have questions for Maria, please text those into us, and we'll make sure that we get those questions to Maria. And then, Maria, we would also like you to give us your social media so that our listeners can connect with you directly. So if you can give us your social media.
Yes, I'll give you our website, which is the Philippine Tourism USA.com. That's the website for additional information. Now, if you do have specific questions, you can email us at info at philippinetourismny.org. Again, info at philippinetourismny.org. So that's for the Philippine Tourism USA.com for additional information on the Philippines and the different destinations.
Excellent, excellent. So we're just going to take a few minutes. And is there anything, Maria, that additional information that you would like to give our listeners that maybe Maria, Nichelle, and I didn't ask you, but you feel is important, so that as people were putting together their travel for 2026 and beyond, that it might help spur them to come to the Philippines?
Yes. Just so yesterday, I just had a webinar training for 600 agents, and one of the question is, do the Filipinos speak English? Because of course we do speak English, and 90%, I would say, will be able to respond to you. They may not be as fluent as those who have taken their university degree, but common, let's say, vendors in the street and all that will be able to speak to you. So be very relax, chill when going to the Philippines. You don't need any translator, but let's say very seldom. And the Filipinos, one of the traits I would say why you should go to the Philippines is we're very hospitable and very friendly. And I would say because we're so used to strangers, we even go out of our way. So if you're lost, we'll really lead you to where you should be going. And one nice trait is we do have like festivals we call fiestas. And when you visit a town that is observing or holding their fiestas, even if you're a stranger, it's open house for everyone, and they will serve you the food.
It's
We
wonderful.
eat a lot. We have morning breakfast. We have snacks in between. We have lunch. We have tea break in the afternoon. We have dinner. And then sometimes we also have midnight cover. So that's really our pastime, eating.
Is eating. Well,
Yeah.
Nichelle was like an expert when it comes to like different areas in food. G- what did you say? Food adventures, I would say. So I think that is apropos to ask you about that, and then for you to say, there's so much culture there that we could really experience the
Right.
food, as we like to say, the food vibe, right? Some of us want to be foodies. I think Michelle's already one, so she's an expert at that.
Yes.
Well,
Well, it's the
Maria,
easiest way. It's the easiest way to learn a culture is
It's
through their
through the
food.
Right.
food,
Through their
right?
food. You might be terrified of a million other things that they're doing or whatever, but food is so simple and easy.
yes, and I do.
Yeah.
When I go somewhere,
too.
I like to eat the authentic,
So
and
do
that's
I.
what sometimes you'll have it here, in the
Right.
U.S. and they say it's certain cultures' food, but sometimes it's so laden with the things that we have in the U.S., the sugar, the fat, and all that, that when you end up experience the authentic food, it's so different. So
Mm.
that is something that I like to do. Well, Maria, we are coming to the close. We thank you so much for coming
Thank you
on
so much.
and talking to us about your wonderful area. As Rita said, I didn't realize there were so many islands either.
Oh,
I mean, it's just wonderful. And for me, 15-hour flight I'll watch movies, I'll go to sleep, I'll wake back up, so that really doesn't bother me.
Yeah, you can do it.
Yeah, you can definitely do it. And just to be able to go to the Philippines, explore it, enjoy it. So we really thank you for coming on, sharing this information, and don't be a stranger.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank
Right. Thank you so much. And there are many ways to discover many reasons to love the Philippines.
Oh, yes.
So thank you. Thank you so much for
Thank
Thank
having
you.
me.
Stay warm. Stay warm.
Yes, thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Take care, Maria. So, listeners, we have come to the close. Thank you so much for staying with us. We've gone way over, ladies.
It was worth it.
It happens. It happens.
It happens.
It
It
happens.
is worth it. I mean,
It happens when you're in good company, good information,
Good information.
uplifting, something to smile about through the winter storm.
good. And we just want to thank all of our listeners for being here. We appreciate the support. We say for some of you who, might have been able to only catch a portion of this broadcast, please go on to www.pghdsen.com. You'll be able to hear the full broadcast. Just give us 24 hours. Mr. Kevin Cameron takes care of all that. And so, it will be out there. So please check back. But we went over a lot of great places to visit. We talked about our cruise. So we just want to make sure that you can get all the information. So definitely go on to our YouTube channel. You'll be able to see all the information there as well. You'll be able to see Miss Rita, Miss Nichelle, and myself. We appreciate all of you being here with us, and definitely we will keep giving you information on the cruise that we have because we want you to come along with us. And again, thank you for being here, and I'll let Nichelle and Rita help close us out. Rita?
Start packing.
Nichelle?
I'm here for any questions that you have. Nichelle at pointbreezetravel.com, or you can call or text me at 720-316-6082. I had a brain freeze for a minute there.
No problem.
But just so you know, we still have some balconies and we have some ocean view cabins. But if you go on Royal Caribbean site for this particular cruise, they are just about booked up.
Wow.
They're just about full. So what our inventory, they are actually checking with me because they would love to have our inventory that we have already reserved for us. So there you go. That's it. That's all I have to say.
So as you guys know, it's open to everyone. The cruise is open to everyone. Right. Our listeners, families, friends, colleagues. So if you want to go on to this cruise, I think you're going to have to book through Nichelle, through us, because if you go directly to Royal, they're probably going to be sold out. So again, we love for you to come with us, and we'll give you more information the next time that we are broadcasting live, which will be February the 28th. So ladies, one thing that I will say before we go is we haven't been on all together. This is the first time for the new year, so yes. Happy New Year.
Oh, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Isn't that crazy? Happy New Year. And we are almost in February, so time definitely goes fast.
Yes.
So again, I'm going to thank everybody, and please connect with us through our social. Any questions about the cruise, you know how to get information like that. And then please stay connected and stay online with us. When we sign off, you will hear great music because, again, the radio platform is 24/7.
Right.
We have soul music, or, if you like soul music, you will hear something on Pittsburgh's DSEN that you will enjoy. So again, we are a 24/7 radio station. Please do not disconnect from us. Continue to listen. You'll hear Mr. Kevin Cameron on his show, Soul Take, every Tuesday, 6 to 8. Rita and Kevin do Soul on Stage. They have various artists that come on. So again, go to our website. You will see what we offer, and I am sure that there will be something on our radio station that you will love.
And I'm just going to hop in here too, Francine, before you all sign off. This is Kevin Cameron again, everyone. Relationship Conversations. Okay, every Monday from 8 to 10 p.m.
Dr. Bing.
With Dr. Linda Bing.
Such a good show.
Adult conversations, right?
Yes.
Real things that go on that people need to talk about
Absolutely.
that they're not talking about.
Absolutely. Yeah, so
Really
that's
a good show.
Excellent show. I mean, if you have a question about relationships, you need to call in.
And no one knows who you are.
That's right. You can call in and you can even text in.
Use an alias.
Yes, which some folks do,
Yes,
which
we
is
do.
fine. So you can call in and you can text in, but as Kevin said, that's on every Monday, 8 to 10 p.m. So we even have it after hours, so you can't say you're stuck at work, right? We try to give you time to get home, get relaxed, but do listen in. It's a fantastic show, and we have Dr. Linda Bing. And with that, we are going to sign off. We will see you guys next month, February 28th. Same time, 12 noon to 2. Thank you, guys. Sail on.
All my bags are packed, I'm ready to go. I'm standing here outside your door. I hate to wake you up to say goodbye, but the dawn is breaking, it's early morn. The taxi's waiting, he's blown his horn. Already I'm so lonesome I could die. So kiss me and smile for me. Tell me that you'll wait for me. Hold me like you'll never let me go. 'Cause I'm leaving on a jet plane. Don't know when I'll be back again. Oh babe, I hate to go.